Yeah, right.
You know?
I was gonna say, yeah,
I'd be so
that's
pissed.
crazy. That whole situation. So, like,
What's up?
did you like? When that came out, I knew right from the beginning, like who that guy was. I don't know if you guys follow that guy before.
Yeah.
This whole situation. Yeah,
I remember. I talked about it a little bit on the podcast we did the other day. I
haven't listened to that one yet.
Yeah, it's nothing super juicy, but whatever. It's the guy. The guy I was friends with him on Facebook for a long time, like not business profiles, just like person to person Facebook friends, right? Yeah. And I've never interacted with him before in my life, but I would always see the things that he would post, and he's just he's an ambitious guy. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like the dude's always had like 8 gazillion different like agencies and like marketing companies and this and that he's tried to create and whatever. And it's like, I mean? Go ahead.
I think it's mental illness on full display is what I think, because I've been following him for quite a while too on his like Instagram and his Facebook. And I think he's severely mentally ill. Like I think he literally has a perception of himself. What's that? Like a grandiose perception. What's that called? Like whatever that psychological term is. But I think he has this perception of himself that is narcissism. So far from what reality is.
Is that the word? No?
Yeah, like he literally is so far from reality with who he actually is that it's like kind of mind-blowing. And I think like through his Instagram, like because he did have a little bit of success and like 15 minutes of fame as a dog trainer for a little while. I mean, I think that's how I kind of found out about him.
Yeah.
But then like, you'd follow him and you'd see he's like on the side, he's doing like stand-up comedy and he's like, he's like a professional development coordinator. He's got like 6 different businesses. He's got like 3 different dog training businesses, you know, and like all this shit. And then like, again, you see him sharing all this stuff. And even back then I thought it was mental illness, you know?
Yeah.
But then I saw when this stuff was coming out with this girl, my first assumption was that he was staging the whole thing and that it was like, you know,
we had some people on YouTube that were commenting that, like saying that they thought it was staged.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, man. I just don't think, I think that it is a little weird how it's like, you know, like she left the review, right? She left him obviously a very positive review. Then all these videos came out, right? Then when it started blowing up, it became a problem. But like, we kind of like put the pieces together and like, you know, like obviously, like he probably knows a little bit about training a dog, where he could get the dog to like stop pulling a little bit, maybe not bite her as much, and all that kind of stuff. And we know that he's the king of trying to exploit things for views, right? Like that's like why he tried to start like an agency and stuff, is because he thinks he's like a social media wizard, right? And obviously from that lady's standpoint, she could have had a good experience, but then just realized she was getting exploited. And then at that point, you know how quickly it is for people to just shift their entire perception of maybe before they thought things were okay, but now it's like everything is, you know, terrible and you're kind of just being a piece of shit now, which is why she kind of came out then and made her video and kind of backtracked on the review and like all that kind of stuff. The only thing that I said was we were watching like her response video that she made to him. I don't know if you saw that one or not, but she made a video basically like explaining everything that happened and all that.
I haven't seen the whole thing, but I saw some of it. Yeah.
Okay. So at one point in the video though, she did say, she's like, my dog has absolutely never acted like this before, and he's never done this before. And the only reason why he did it is because he knew something was wrong with this Dylan guy, and he just didn't want me to leave him there anymore. To that part, I would say I've heard that conversation a million times before. Like, I definitely don't believe for 1 second that dog has never done that behavior before. Though.
Yeah.
Like, that is like the only part that I would say.
I think it's more of like, if I had to look at it now that I've seen that stuff come out, like I don't really think it's set up anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I still wouldn't necessarily put it past the whole thing was set up, but I don't think so. But I think it was more of like an owner that didn't know what they didn't know. You know, it's like, I think she didn't realize that that's a really that's not at what training should look like. I don't think she realized that that's not like how a Malinois should be behaving.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was there the whole time saying, no, this is what they do. They bite, they do all this. Yeah. I would even go as far as to say that I believe that the dog has never acted that way with her, to that extremeness, to that level of, you know, to that level, because I think I think the dog is in a stressful situation. I think especially if it did just get dropped off for a board and train with this guy, and what she said is true. I think the dog was probably like just totally wound up and stressed out, get me out of this situation. And we've seen dogs do, crazy shit like that, when they're acting that way. And especially with a Malinois that's just over the top excited, if he's telling you to do all these different things that are just creating more frustration and stuff like that, then that kind of issue is going to come out. Versus if the owner just really let the dog live a pretty carefree life, it maybe never took that level of frustration out on her, or maybe not in that way. Maybe it came out in different ways.
I think if the
even then, I don't know.
But. Yeah, sure. Obviously, we're just making our best educated guesses here. Obviously, I think if I only saw the video of them trying to get the dog in the crate, I would say that, because like clearly that dog was not going in that crate and was going to do anything that he needed to do to get that woman to not put him in that crate, right? But like a lot of the other videos were just her in the yard trying to play tug with the dog, right? And the dog just kind of kept redirecting on her arm and her clothes and all of that. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess we could say that was just bleeding over from maybe they did the crate stuff first and he was still wound up. Probably, like, hypothetically, yeah, I could understand that. I just don't know, man. That dog really seemed like, in a lot of the clips, not all of the clips, that he seemed like that was all just like a big game to him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, that's why I thought it was staged, because it seemed like the dog like knew what he was doing. Like, it seemed like he knew to be gentle enough, and that the owner was like, seemed like the owner of the dog was like, yeah, this is what we do. Yeah, and then I did see like the blood and stuff, and it's like, okay, maybe it's just like some poor like immigrant woman that he hired or paid. And again, like, I'm not putting that past this Dylan guy to just give some person off the street $3,000 to like get bit by a Malinois for a couple hours for some videos and then like be on their way. I'm not saying that that's not possible. Yeah. But back to the whole mental illness thing. Now it's like you look at I don't know if you saw like the replies he put on like that.
He had like the alligator mom. Oh yeah, he had like 1,000 comments that he was leaving on there.
That's what I mean. Like, that's the kind of thing that mental illness people, like people with mental illness do. And then you see, if you've looked at his Facebook page, which I went over there just the other day to see what was going on, and it's just him sharing years old videos and content of him getting good reviews and doing work with dogs. Yeah. Because again, I really think he's like in this position where he's like sees himself as somebody he's entirely not. It's like he thinks he's this big marketing, social media wizard, dog trainer guru, and I think it's all coming crashing down, and we're going to see a big mental illness break from him, and who knows what's going to happen.
Okay, so here's my follow-up question to that, right? So obviously this video has gone so bananas viral, like it's insane, not just from his original posts, but like everybody else that's posted at this point. Like, it's probably amassed hundreds of millions of views at this point, right? Excuse me.
Which is
insane.
Crazy. Like, that's almost
so
makes you think
views.
That it could still be set up.
Yeah, right.
It's like, even if he never has to train another dog again or can't, he's probably pretty set for now.
So,
I mean,
So here's my question, right? So somebody commented on YouTube like just like an hour ago on like one of the clips that we posted of it and was like, "Oh, thank you for sharing this. We all need to stand together against, dog abuse and stuff like that." And this is where I'm like, I don't think that was dog abuse necessarily, right? Like, I think that was just shitty training.
Yeah, that was client abuse.
So, right. So I don't think that was dog abuse. I don't necessarily think this guy needs to go to jail over this. Now, like, the lady made some claims that like the dog was being poorly treated in his care and stuff like that. That's a separate conversation. Obviously, if that's the case, like that's you teeter on the line a little bit right there. But just from a training standpoint, seeing those videos, that's just like, he kind of just got exposed for shitty training, right? Yeah. So forget the does he have mental illness or does he not have mental illness? Just off this situation, how do you view like the court of public opinion? Obviously, it seems like if you read a lot of the things people are posting, some people are from the lens of this guy should never touch dogs ever again. Others are just saying this is horrible training and he should just not be a trainer anymore, this, that. Like, do you personally feel this guy needs quote unquote ramifications over this situation?
Yeah, I do. I think that girl needs to lawyer up and sue his ass for whatever, like fraud, I guess, like incompletion of services, whatever she can sue him for, because there's enough video footage and probably enough professional opinion for her to win that case, you know? And I would also be suing for all of the money gained from all those videos. That's a big thing that I'd be doing if I was in her position. I'd be finding a lawyer that's going to get me every dollar that comes in from one of those videos, because that's my money. You got taken advantage of. You exploited
me. Yeah.
It was fraudulent service. Yeah, exploitation. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, exploited, right? And the services were never rendered clearly. That's obvious on video. Yeah. Now, again, if he has that review that says,
isn't that where it's tough though, because
things get hairy, but
right.
I'm going to court. I'm still going to court if I was her,
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's like you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you from the standpoint of like, if you're ever in a position with a trainer where it's like this person just fucking scam, if you genuinely feel like this person scammed you out of money, right? Like we've seen a gazillion times before, people that hire somebody for training, that trainer not achieving absolutely anything for this client, right? And we're not even talking like situations with a client just didn't put in the work. We're just talking a trainer that failed a client, right? And then that trainer tries to just lean back into the fucking contract that says guarantees aren't, we don't fucking provide guarantees and this and that and blah, blah, and says, no, fuck you, I'm not going to give you your money back. And then that client is just like, well, I guess I'm shit out of luck. And I think that's a big problem in the dog world right now. And I think from an individual case-by-case standpoint, if you're in that position like this lady, if she feels he didn't provide results, which again, the review is where it gets tricky because she did leave him a very positive review on like Google or whatever the fuck it was. But let's say she never left that review and all of this happened and she's still in the exact same position she was before. Like, you're entitled to some shit over it. The other sketchy part though is the views off of, or the money from like the views and stuff on the video. I guess that would be contingent on if in his contract he has a photo and video release on it, right? Because like I know in our contract, like we have a photo video release in ours, right? So like if we take videos, right, we're allowed to video you, we're allowed to video your dog. And I discussed in the podcast episode we did, obviously you need to use your best like PR judgment on like what you post and what you don't post to not make your client look like a fucking idiot. But if a video, I guess my problem is, let me gather my thoughts here. Hold on. I guess my issue is, why, like, so we could call it exploiting her for the views and stuff, right? But if legally he was allowed to take video and those were his videos, past just getting her money back for the services unrendered, why would she be entitled to the money from the views? This is me kind of playing devil's advocate for this, though I don't disagree with you,
I think it's worth asking. It's worth asking a lawyer, because I would bet, even though we have these video releases in our contract, which we do have, I bet it doesn't cover for monetary gain from their likeness, from using their likeness to make money. I'm sure that there's some other thing that we would need to include in our contracts if we want to cover for that. Some lawyer could, I'm sure, maybe win that case, especially if there's lots of money being made off of it.
Yeah.
Even if there's a video release, that just covers like, you can video me, but it doesn't mean you can make millions of dollars off of me, right? I'm sure there's some sort of law that covers that.